Hey, how are you today? My name's Justine and today we're going to be making these apple pie Larabars. Alright, so I'm going to leave the recipe for these in the description box below. But first we're going to take 2 apples, peeled, sliced, and diced. I use Fuji here, but you can use whatever you have on hand. And then you're going to place these apples into a medium-sized pot with 2.5 cups of water. You're going to want to bring the water up to a boil and then turn down the heat to medium. And at this point, you can add half a lemon and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. And while the apples are reducing, we'll start on the crust. Alright, so into your food processor or blender, you're going to add 2 cups of pitted dates, 2 cups of nuts. I use pecans and I highly recommend that you toast them ahead of time. A teaspoon of cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, an 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg, but that's optional, and 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. So go ahead and blend these ingredients together. You're going to want to scrape down the sides as you go, but in the end you're just going to want it to form a clump and for the pecans to have a fine crumb. And here's a shot of what mine looked like at the end. So take your 8x8 dish and line it with some parchment paper, and then you're going to place half of the crust into this dish and spread it out evenly. And once it's done like this, you're just going to place it into the freezer so it can set up. Alright, when that's setting up, we're just going to finish this apple pie filling. You're just going to want to mash these apples once the water's been reduced. And then you're going to take a teaspoon of cornstarch and a teaspoon of water and mix that up into a slurry. And then you're just going to add that in there just to thicken it up. You'll probably want it to be on medium-high just to get it to the right consistency. So you're going to want to let that apple pie filling sit for at least 15 minutes to cool off. But once that's done, you can take out the crust and start assembling it. Alright, so we're at the end here. We're just going to add that apple pie filling over the top of the crust we made. And then we're just going to spread that out evenly and add the remaining crust over the top here. And then you can add some extra nuts. I added walnuts, but you can add whatever you would like, maybe even apple. So you're just going to let these set up one last time. I highly recommend you actually wait 30 minutes, but I think I only waited 15 honestly because I was just so excited. But now you're just going to cut those up, and I like to cut them into squares, but you can do little finger length pieces if you'd like. I recommend that you actually store these in the refrigerator because the consistency is much better. So as you can see, I am like really excited about eating these. But these are so good. I highly recommend that you try them. My husband absolutely loved them. He almost ate the whole thing that night. So if you tried this recipe out, go ahead and leave a comment below what you thought of them. And if you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. Otherwise, I'll catch you in the next one.